next session, which is a panel discussion. We are going to discuss on the next-gen technologies and future-ready rail systems for Viksit Rail 2047. And for that, I would like to invite the moderator, Ms. Sujata Sahai, CEO, India Wells, to kindly come on the stage. And we have the panelist, Mr. Navneet Kaushik, Senior Advisor, S&T National High Speed. Please join us on the stage, sir. So I hope we have the presentation or the introduction for Ms. Sujata Sahai, and then for Mr. Navneet Kaushik, and then we have Dr. Namrata Kalsi, Chief Architect, Gurugram Metro Rail Limited. Also, kindly come towards on the stage, please. Then we have Mr. Manoj Tandon, Director, Project and Operations, RailTel Corporation of India. And now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Neha Yadav, Assistant Professor, JSS University, Noida. And also would like to invite Dr. Jitendra Singh, Group MD, Henrich Limited. And last but not the least, Mr. Mansoor Faruqi, CEO, Lincoln India. Can we have him on stage, please?
Let's not make, not having a seat of fiasco here. Anyways, so here I stand tall in front of you, and it gives me immense pleasure. So, very good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen here, and to the distinguished guests on and off the stage. It's a pleasure to welcome you all in the session on next-gen technologies and future-ready rail systems for Viksit Bharat 2047. Now, I'm Sujata Sahai. I'm the moderator of this session. I run a company called India Wells, which is into a very different domain called welding. But here, when we are talking about next-gen technologies in railways, so our focus is not just on railways, which, what binds us all here today. We are talking about what kind of technologies that will shape railways in the coming years. And, just to introduce you with the subject. So, how do we view railways? Railways is not just something that is connecting people, but they are also connecting opportunities. They are connecting ideas. They are connecting industries. And every time we look at the phase through which India has grown, every phase of India's growth has been accompanied by the expansion and evolution of the railway network. And as we move towards the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, the rail sector will once again play a defining role, not just in the transportation part, but also in its economic growth, sustainability, manufacturing, urban development, and national competitiveness. So, we are actually standing at a very remarkable point in this journey today. Now, when we are talking about artificial intelligence, IoT, digital twins, predictive maintenance, these are no more jargons. These are very much the foundation of intelligent, connected, and resilient rail systems. And interestingly, while we often talk about digital transformation, we sometimes overlook an equally important question. Who will build, operate, maintain, and continuously improve these future-ready rail systems? Because technology cannot deliver the vision of Viksit Rail 2047 behind every intelligent station, every high-speed corridor, every predictive maintenance system. Everything depends as much on human capability as it does on technological capability. So while at India Wells, we believe, India Wells is my company, where we believe that infrastructure development and competency development must progress together. We are here getting into a discussion today which is not simply about adoption of new technologies, but how do we create an ecosystem where innovation, infrastructure, digital intelligence, industry, academia, and skills, they all come together. Now, for this kind of a topic where we are not just discussing technologies, but how do we adopt these technologies, we have a very interesting and very outstanding panel here. And you know, they all bring perspectives, not just you know, because of their qualification, because of their you know, the experience, but also through the initiatives that they have taken in all these years. So I'll be happy to introduce Mr. Navneet Kaushik, who is Senior Advisor to NHSRC. And he has you know, contributions which include driving innovations in high-speed rail signaling, ETCS implementation, CBTC deployment, platform screen doors, and advanced train automation technologies. And during his tenure at NCRTC, he contributed to pioneering initiatives, including the implementation of advanced signaling technologies for India's transformational regional rapid transit ecosystem. We welcome you, Mr. Kaushik. Then we have equally accomplished Dr. Namrata Kalsi, who is now Chief Architect of Gurugram Metro Rail Limited. And she is a distinguished architect and urban infrastructure leader. And her contributions through her work at GMRL, DMRC, NDMC, PUDA, and GMADA is equally, you know, spoken at in one breath by everybody. So, we welcome you, Dr. Kalsi. Then we have Mr. Manoj Tandon, who is Director Projects and O&M at RailTel Corporation of India Limited, and his contributions has supported the growth of railwire broadband, network automation, NOC modernization, and enhanced customer experience across telecom and rail infrastructure domains. Interestingly, in this panel, we also have somebody from the academia, Dr. Neha Yadav. Now, when we are talking at the industry, we are talking at you know, industries like organizations like RailTel. We also have Dr. Neha representing the academia, and she is going to talk and take us through her journey of how AI, you know, cybersecurity, IoT, semantic search, because she has been into that research space also, and she'll help us understand what academia is doing, which can be harnessed and utilized by the industry. Mr. Mansoor Farooqi, who is our next distinguished panelist, he is the CEO of Link Hall India Private Limited, and his deep expertise in AI-driven supply chains, digital transformation is something that we are looking forward to. Then we have Dr. Jitendra Singh, who is Group Managing Director, Henrich Corporation India Private Limited. He is a business leader with extensive experience across industrial management, domestic and international business development. Now, with this kind of a panel, we have the user side, we have from the government side, we have from the academia side, and that is what makes us very holistic and interesting to understand. Because when we are talking about future tech, AI, digital transformation, we are usually having, you know, either the industry saying this is what we have done, or the government saying this is what we need, or the academia saying that this is what we are developing. But when we are having all of you at the same time, so that brings into a very interesting session. So without any more ado, I would like to start with Mr. Navneet Kaushik ji. So you have been into the kind of work that you have done. So when people think about future railways, what we are usually, please check out with the next mic. So when we are talking about future railways, we are usually talking about faster trains. So, Mr. Kaushik, in your view, what is the real technology that will quietly transform railway operations over the next 2 decades?
Thank you, Sujata. In fact, I have worked on high-speed train presently in India, that's RRTS 160 kmph. But when I look back, what I feel is that from the commuter perspective, it's not the speed which is what commuter looks at. He is more interested in safety, punctuality, convenience, and then lastly I would say speed, because I have seen people traveling in those trains and then only on the first day they will look at the display where the speed is displayed. Later on, they are not interested in speed, they are more interested in that trains are coming in time, those are safe and convenient. So when I look at that, in my opinion, and that's what I see that in coming years, how the system would be. Today when I go to the operation control center, I just see a display where the trains are tracked, that's all. Whereas what is the requirement? We want the entire railway system to be mapped, to be made visible in the control center so that efficient decisions can be taken. So the basic requirement is that when the train moves, it moves with the entire layer of information that is required for operation. And for that, it's necessary that each and every system is instrumented. And how much instrumentation that should be provided, whether it is train, track, bridges, the rail infrastructure, and finally the signaling. So all that has to be instrumented and made visible in the operation control center so that things can be handled, punctuality and efficiency both can be handled from the central location. So that's the most important thing. And therefore, and not only that, once this information is available, then perhaps everybody would speak about AI and all that. That information can be utilized by the other systems, and the systems can be made very efficient. And I will just tell you that the three most important things which I look as the future is not the time-based maintenance, not the condition-based maintenance, but predictive maintenance. Second, since large number of instrumentation would be there and the data need to be transferred regularly to the central location, so the backbone is required, and fortunately today the backbone is available in form of optical fiber and 5G. And lastly, the most important thing is, this is what my dream is, that every railway infrastructure has digital twin in the operation control center so that the controller has the complete view of the system. Each and every system information is available, and system is maintained, operated efficiently. So that's what I look at it.
So, would you agree to this that, would you, or rather I should reframe it, like would you allow the AI to take that operational decisions in the coming, once we have a robust background? Or should it remain only at the...
No, absolutely. In fact, when it comes to the safety part, fortunately railway systems are very disciplined. All the systems are what we say SIL 4, safety integrity level SIL 4. That means as far as the back-end commands that allow the actual train operation, those are completely safe, and I don't think that AI would ever come there. But yes, operational decisions, absolutely AI has to be there, because you need optimized timetable, you need energy efficiency, you need proper crew management, you require many such aspects which are looked at daily in the control center, and there AI can definitely help and make the system perfect.
So you mean to say it's a decision support tool, basically?
Correct.
That's what AI
That's
is going
right.
to. So coming to you, Dr. Neha, as in, since he has spoken about safety critical operations. So as per your experience, your studies, your research on AI, so what is your take from the academia point of view? Can AI be trusted enough for safety critical applications?
According to our research and academia part, we can say that AI can be trusted, but human support is needed for this. We can say that, for example, if we go back to 10 to 40 to 30 years now, from now, if we are going for in domains like aviation, healthcare and railways specifically, in aviation, autopilot mode is testing phase. We are not fully going on in one phase in automation. We are maintaining that automation period, as we can say that in layers we are trusting the model. Not in one go we are trusting the model. In some part, human assistance is required, as in aviation and healthcare and railway, human life is on stake.
So this is from the practical side of view, but from the academia part, when you, as somebody who is researching into AI, making it very robust, making it very stable. So from that point of view, how far has has it developed to be trusted? If you can just quantify it, maybe 80%, 90% or 60% as on date.
If we take this as from an example, as automation cars, it is going on fully automation. So we can say that there we are achieving approx 90 to 98% of accuracy, and it depends on the environmental factors that we are dealing with.
So you mean to say, while academically or on paper we are achieving 100%, but again there is something that is missing out on, right? Yes. Exactly. So but then when we are talking about these technologies again and talking about Indian Railways, the pace at which things are growing, so what is that one thing which you feel that Indian Railways should adopt as a technology, which you find from that from your studies, like which should be adopted at not 10 years from now, but almost immediately?
If we say that immediately, we have technologies that can adapt to the processes that we are dealing with. The one thing that would be AI enabled predictive maintenance and asset evaluation. By saying this, I mean that we can, from the factors, if we say that in railways, we are working on reactive matters. Like if there is a crack in any railway track, we are not notifying this before the crack initially it happens. So for this, we are maintaining a standard process to renovate these tracks, and if there is a problem in signals, that is not signaling in real time. So to overcome these things, we can implement this process, and for this, the benefits that we are getting from this process is it will be cost saving. It will also help in saving any accident that will occur. So AI we have processes and we have methods or models. As you see in our university JSS, we are also organizing a one-day summit on railway. Here we are engaging students, and we are also asking from students how we can enhance these models to integrate AI and also to remove the accidents that occurs in daily life.
Right. So coming back to again models that you have mentioned about, so what is the biggest challenge? Is it the quality of our data or something else?
If we say so, the biggest challenge is the data itself. If we are training a model on an incomplete data or a data which has different aspects, then there's a saying in AI, if we give garbage to the model, then it will give garbage as a result.
That's garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage
That's
in,
what.
garbage out. So for this, we need, as we all know, in railways, there are different kinds of data. And to integrate all these data together in one place is a tedious task. So we should focus on clean data that will help us in achieving a good accuracy for our model.
Right. Now, coming to this, taking a cue from here. So, Mr. Manoj Tandon, I would like you to intervene here and tell us the kind of data, the kind of infrastructure that is required. Can India's digital infrastructure support that vision today?
Thank you once again. I think the digital transformation is not a product, it's a journey, it's a continuous journey. And if you see from the infrastructure point of view, the telecom network in India is very, very mature. All of us know that the data price is cheapest in the world. We are consuming heavy data on the mobile as well as the FTTH. So from the infrastructure point of view, everything is ready, but the only thing is, as Kaushik sir was saying, that safety standards, security standards have to be taken care of. And in typically cyberspace, we always call it a zero trust architecture. If you remember, we were having a cup of tea before the session and we were talking on this, that everybody is in a hurry. Everybody wants yesterday. So I think there has to be some thought, mirrored systems, and people cannot give you standards, and also while designing, so we always say that safety and design have to go hand in hand. Sometimes we are doing a lot of retrofitting, and these retrofitting creates issues. If you see in the railway network also, there are a lot of sensors which are getting introduced. And if I talk about data center space, we always say that there has to be air gap in the admin plane. The admin plane or control plane cannot be touching internet at all. Now if your data driven decisions, that's what I think you were asking Kaushik sir, that can AI take over? I don't agree. You have to have data driven decision, because today's decisions are typically SOP driven or process driven. There the AI can actually augment the intelligence, wherein the decision will be taken based on the data and not on SOP alone. But the challenge of cybersecurity in the railway infrastructure digital world is something very different than what we used to have in cyberspace. And there a lot of thoughts have to go into that. The underlying layer is ready. The interoperability has to be made sure.
So, coming from here, what is the biggest digital risk you feel that we are underestimating today?
I will just top up my answer further, is that if your control functions in the railways is touching internet, you carry a lot of risk. If you are dependent on the IoT sensors to take decisions, and those IoT sensors are giving you data in internet world, you are at risk. So how are we designing the overall architecture? It's extremely important. There are many initiatives which are taken by different departments. So somehow everything has to come to a standard in terms of safety security. Otherwise, you will have issue that you will allow people to enter. Second thing, in the cyberspace, it is the data stealing, or it is the ransomware which is creating problem. But here, if you have decision support system coming from data, and if somebody manipulates the data, so for example, you have to clear the track, and if AI intervenes or somebody takes over the AI and say this track is clear, the track is not clear. That's the biggest risk we are carrying. We are seeing in the transport sector, this is unlike in the data center space. So the safety standard have to be taken care of, otherwise you will have major challenges.
Right. So, you rightly said that everybody is in a hurry and we have to go back inculcating patience in our daily lives. And so with, like you rightly said, we were having over a cup of tea, we were just, discussing how impatient we have become. And we are showing the same impatience when it comes to AI, which I feel is a bigger threat. And I think that's what we are all also trying to, de-risk. We want to de-risk ourselves from that kind of a threat. So, will cybersecurity soon become as important as signaling itself in railways?
Of course, yes. If your decisions, if your actions are dependent on decisions, and those decisions are dependent or will be dependent on data, the cybersecurity will no longer be an IT security department only. It will be an operational security. Right now, the things are treated on a different plan, because for IT security you handle in a different manner. And somewhere, one thing which we don't talk in the day-to-day affairs is we always talk about cybersecurity or IT security, but we often leave the OT security in isolation. Now, OT security, I think it's a very, very critical space, which are often overlooked by most of the discussions and most of the SMEs. So OT security also covers your electricals also, I think. Your various relays which operate, which clear the track and all. Somewhere the cybersecurity has to intervene into those areas also.
So, Mr. Farooqi, here I would like you to intervene and tell us that one cyber threat, rail leaders should be preparing themselves for.
Very good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for having me on the panel, ma'am. Excellent points made. I'm just going to drive some of my observations from Mr. Tandon's points here. Look, if you look at the current scenario, modern rail is extremely connected today. We all live in a connected world, right? We are already talking about connected IoT sensors, GPS, vision systems, APIs that are integrating with third-party systems. We are talking ERP integrations, mobile applications, and on top of that, add a layer of all AI models. So it's basically, as the world gets more connected, you're actually increasing the threat landscape or the threat surface, as we call it, right? And when people talk about cybersecurity, one of the growing concerns that we are seeing is a lot of AI-powered phishing and social engineering, right? Now, today, LLMs can now generate the most sophisticated, convincing emails, even in multimodal, multimodal messages, or even impersonate a voice very beautifully, right? So we got to be really careful about those things. But when people actually talk about cybersecurity, they generally think of ransomware. But the bigger risk for freight rail is actually the manipulation of operational data, as what Mr. Tandon was saying here, right? Now, think of it, if an attacker can actually alter the ETAs of rakes or wagon priorities or even yard information for that matter without being detected. They don't need to stop trains. They just simply make the entire logistics network less efficient. Now, in today's AI-driven operations, protecting the integrity of the operational data is extremely important, as it's as important as protecting the infrastructure itself, right? Sir also mentioned about zero trust policy. I would like to add AI governance, making sure we just don't protect systems, but we also protect the models and the data feeding the AI decisions. My closing point on this particular question would be that the next cyber attack may not derail a train, but it may just quietly derail the decisions that actually keeps railways running.
Right. That also reminds me of the very recent problem that we had with battery operated e-rickshaws, which could be stopped because, and there's only a simple technology as Bluetooth, which is there everywhere. Nobody could even imagine earlier that something like this, and we are talking about complex and complicated systems.
Yeah.
So definitely there are threats inbuilt into, the more, things are moving.
It's as simple as just hacking the kill switch for any of these PLCs or these devices, and that's it. Your whole network goes down.
So coming to this, when we are talking about complexities, we are talking about passenger experience. Dr. Kalsi, I would like to bring you here. Your work has been, as an architect, you have been looking into more than beautifying buildings, making it functional. I guess the core thought process that goes on in an architect's mind is also how the passenger, in terms of when we are talking about railways and all. So the passenger experience, you must be having that thing at the core while you are designing something, or you are coming up with the new ideas. Now, when we are talking about people, everybody seems to compare today's, railways with, oh, this looks more like an airport. So railways, while we just equate them with a very meager class, we at the same time we find any airport should be classy. So from class to classy, that is what is happening. And now with the changing face of the railways, the railway stations and everything. So what should every railway station in 2047 should be able to offer which is not there right now, as per you? Talking from the passenger experience. Now this is much different from what we have been discussing, but yes, where and how probably the digital infrastructure can play a role. And also alongside to this will be my next question, but then when we are talking about utilizing AI, utilizing IoT based solutions, making things robust, safe, everything is there. Now, what is that one thing that you feel that we are still not looking at it, but by 2047, every railway station should be able to offer, and probably that's not even available with the airports. So that makes people, how do we attract people towards one thing? Like what Metro did vis-a-vis the EMUs.
Thank you, Sujata. That's a very complex question. But first, what I would like to connect myself to what was going on earlier. So I also have my take on AI. So just one line on that. That in this world, every few years, there is a disruption technology. Like earlier, we had steam trains, then came diesel, electrical, and now this AI has come. So whenever a destruction technology comes, we have to not to ignore it. Because if we ignore it, then we'll be left back. But we have to be very cautious about, adopting it as stated by Mr. Tandon. As well as in academia, during destruction technology, we also have to keep up with the skill. So it is very important that the academia gear up, find out the requirement of each vertical, what is required, prepare the courses and align the students along with that, because at this point of time, students are the most scared because of AI. The entire skill and the education industry is in a point of flux at this point of time. So that is my request to her. Now coming back to the railway versus airport, what I would like to say is that it's a very unfair question, because the railway is dealing with a very large number of people, but they are very inclusive and it's affordable. While the airport is also dealing with a very large number of people, where efficiency and providing convenience is more important. But like I stated earlier, we cannot ignore that because ridership is the key. All my colleagues sitting here would realize that the money is in the ridership, that how much money you are getting into your system, how many people you are getting into the system determines that how much ridership you attract. So the first few items which I can say are different in railways and airport is like railway is functional while airport is more elitist and provides premium services. It is often, railways are often crowded, they have to deal with more number of people. It is, while airport is fully digital, railway is still hybrid, I may say. Signage are varying, comfortable lounges are not there in airport depending on the class. There is still a lot of open access in the railways which need to be plugged in like it is there in metros. Luggage system, the parking, then other things also have to be dealt. But at the same time, railways cannot say that we will continue to be what we are because it is no longer a boarding and alighting system. It has got now mobility hubs, commercial destination, and it is a city gateway. So the first and foremost item which the railways must do is to give seamless passenger experience in the sense that single ticket for whole nation like NCMC card. So I leave out the other points because this is getting longer. Most important is the multi-modal integration in which the metro, buses, regional rail, airport, taxis, auto rickshaw are all connected with the pedestrian and the cycle facilities. There should be park and ride facility, and metros should be connected to transit oriented development in which the city and the transport like Singapore gets done in the same direction. Another important point is universal accessibility like barrier free design, easy movement of the elderly, the differently abled and the visually impaired, sign languages, auditory languages, and gender sensitive solutions, and safety for women is important. Thereafter, safety, security and resilience. Still there is less safety infrastructure in the railway station. We only have a DFMD and an X-ray machine. But since the stations are not leakage free, so there is a danger of many such things coming out from the fag end of the platforms. But it's nice to know that the railway has command and control system with CCTV cameras where the entire system can be monitored through the other eyes. Sustainability and green like net zero, solar, rainwater, green building norms, electric vehicle charging has become not a new thing but a part of the system. Then if we get a rating from any green rating agency, we are able to bring in the latest research they have been doing specifically in-house, which becomes a part of academia to deal. Then smart technology and railway station as a social hub. So winding up over here, that I may say that aspiration should be to combine the accessibility and affordability of railways with providing comfort, efficiency, cleanliness, customer-centric services of the airports.
Right. So when we are talking about passenger experiences, many a time we find that it also increases complexity when we are talking about, for example, if we just look at the way we enter an airport and the way we enter the railway station. Having that kind of a setup, when just comparing airport with the railway station, you know, the main first thing that will come to a general public mind is if you are bringing in such changes, it is also making the entire process more complex. So how do we look into it? And you know, also I would like to ask Mr. Kaushik also, both of you can answer this. So it brings us to a question, like, do operational realities many a times conflict with passenger experience? Because a passenger would look at is a comfort zone. But for railways, it's always the security which is, it's for there for airports as well, and that's why we have that kind of a system. But then when it comes to balancing out with customer experience, the operational realities, the complexity of behind, establishing that kind of operations. So where do you see a conflict in that, and if yes, how do we manage that thing?
I would like to answer that question. The thing is that at this point of time in Gurugram Metro, UXI will be a IPR of the metro, because every metro says that these are my taglines, these are my key points on which my metro will be based, because there are metro in many cities and everybody is bringing in their different ideas. But for us, UXI is going to be very important. UXI is, if we explained it, is user experience interface. So there, for the maintaining efficiency, the security, the safety, the timetables and everything, behind the screen there is whole lot of technology. But for a passenger, he is only understanding that I have to go from point A to point B, and it should be taken in least amount of time with maximum convenience and without having any complication if any disruption takes place. So for him, how much time it will take, like he said earlier, they are not bothered that what technology, or more interested ki how much time it will take, how convenient will be. So in that respect, UXI serves the purpose that the technology does not become just a showcase, but it is behind the screen and it is a user interface which helps him bring all the services without any complication.
So I like to add something over here. In fact, I look at it from 3 different angles. That's right. So sides of the same coin. So when it comes to the customer's expectation, commuter's expectation, there is always a conflict because, like for example, if I am not in railways, I will just think that I should have the train available round the clock, right? But then the requirement comes for upkeep and maintenance. So this conflict will always remain because we need time for attending the system, because it's very important that if tomorrow my train has to run, it should run flawless throughout the day, and I should get sufficient time, whatever bare minimum time, but sufficient time to maintain the system in the night so that things can be made operational, trouble-free on the next day. So this conflict will always remain. Apart from that, when the commuter directly interacts with the train, I mean, there are simple things like, for example, I want my train should stop at the station and then there is a dwell time, say 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds, it should close the door and start moving. But what actually passenger wants, he wants that he should board the train comfortably, there should not be any hurry, and they should be more in a most comfortable manner. But that this conflict will always remain. Passenger wants that when they are in the coach, it should be in the summertime, it should be quite cool. Temperature should be maybe in the order of 20 or 22 degrees centigrade. And as operator, I will always look at the energy cost which I am incurring. So I'll keep it at 25 or 26 degrees centigrade, and in the summer, in the winter, something similar. So that will always remain. Only area where we both align is they want online information of my entire system. That I completely agree, and this is where we really work upon and see that yes, passenger should all, whether in the system or outside the system, they must have complete online information of the train.
Right. So coming from this side, we have spoken about the passenger expectations, the AI, the developments that is taking place, the new technologies. So, Dr. Jitendra Singh, I would like to ask you, so what we see here is India is, the industry is already ready with the technologies, right? Let us look at the bottlenecks. Now, what is the real bottleneck as per you in terms of policy, investment, or the mindset? What, as per you, should be the first thing that we are looking at? And in continuation with that, what is that one thing you would like to change in India in the next 5 years so that we see all these, we are talking about complexities, we are talking about deterrence, but that, what is that one thing that we should change and you would like that change, to see that change in India, whether in terms of policy or investment or something else?
Thank you, Sujata, to giving us this opportunity to speak on this. So you have 3-4 questions together. One is transportation. Every industrialist or businessman or manufacturer, transportation is very important. The air transportation is very costly nowadays, become more impact on the product cost. Rail transportation is quite important, and we are forgetting also water transportation, which is lacking in India market. We are more focused on airport and railway development. Of course, we have a manufacturing unit. We require a raw material from different parts, so we want a fast movement from one place to another place. So rail transportation is important, facility is important, but more the new government will take a high speed of the development. If you see the 15 years before, there is a less amenities, less comfortable transportation. Now getting more and more, we are connecting towns, we are connecting our suburbans fastly. So manufacturing unit is in one place is more dense. We can go exit if we get the more proper transportation for logistics. Passenger is okay, but whatever the logistics, the cost, when we are using road transportation, there is a lot of hurdles. So the rail infrastructure need to improve the transportation for the logistic. Of course, in the city, the pollution, if we use the more water transportation, is less pollution. We can use canals, we can use the sea water in the city and more water transformation. Other than this, the technology, the policies of the government, as a manufacturing the country, we enter into the Make in India last 10 years, we more focus under Make in India. But the policy we need to adopt from the foreign countries, China, Japan, USA, Europe. What their policies? How to export. Our policy should improve as a OEM. Suppose I want to manufacture for the Germany, I want to manufacture for the EU, but my customs should handle free. They should not check so much deeply, you need to tag a made in India. If Germany guy want to purchase German product, manufacturing from us, why should I use made in India? He will put made in Germany. So customs should have, we are getting revenue from the outside. So the policy should make a flexible to the Indian manufacturer. The raw material suppliers. I have many raw material suppliers, one from Pune, one from Kochi, one from Kerala. To get into the all raw material in one place, my cost increase. So government should make an ecosystem to get the raw material convenient to one place to another place.
So you mean to say that if it is, we have to really make in India successful. One of the things that you are talking about is railways should facilitate the transportation of the goods which is made in India from one place to another, so that we are no longer dependent on outside India, goods from Germany or China or something like that. So this is a takeaway for you. We have with us EDME Freight from Railway Board, who is actually day in and out, he is trying to make freight movement easier, getting all kind of AI digital systems, as I have got to know. So this is a takeaway from here, that to make in India more successful, हम लोग Indian goods को थोड़ा सा और push करें through railways, so that we keep the cost down. और हम लोग rather so that people actually take up make made in India goods rather than goods made in Germany or elsewhere. So I'll just ask one question, and this will I'll begin with Mr. Farooqi, but then this is a question for everyone. That is, what is that one technology we are talking about too much, but we are actually delivering too little today? Like AI, if I talk about AI, everybody will say everybody is talking about AI. But it is, when we just heard AI also brings in complexities, yes. Complexities are liked by passengers, no. Are we talking about Viksit Rail? Yes. Do we want the digitized infrastructure in place? Yes. There is a lot of, ifs and buts in the entire, it's something that we're talking a lot, but that do you think there is, one thing that we're talking about a lot, and I would like you to be more specific rather than very generic, because AI itself is a very generic term, but that is, one technology we are, you're talking about a lot, but not delivering that much.
I want to explain this something interesting. Suppose in our country, I want to develop something new in AI. Who will allow me to implement? If I go to the government, I ask, this is the new technology I want to implement in the railway or any government department. They ask me a lot of questions, provenness. So if I am developing new technology, how I will generate a background? So they must allow to implement first. So this is the policy we need to change. The innovation should we get a space to implement first.
Right.
So as a railway operation man, yes, for me, digital twin is one area where we are going really slow, and perhaps the reason is that the instruments which we require, the IoTs which we need, perhaps those are not available freely in the country for all different subsystems. So that probably will take some time, but then that has to come.
It's very difficult to pinpoint just one decision, but I think data-driven decisions is a thing which will actually touch many parts of the railways.
If you really ask me, right, I mean, technology is just one part of it, but what's basically the barrier to technology is a lot of siloed or fragmented decision making. The biggest technology today isn't biggest challenge today isn't technology. It's basically fragmented decision making. When you actually look at some of the large organizations that we've been working with, there's tremendous amount of SAP data, GPS data, even voice related integrations are available there. Vehicle tracking, yard operations. But the data exists, but it's all simply not connected there. Somewhere or the other, the idea is for us to, bring all that data under a single integrated platform. And let me actually give you an example, right? I'm from the logistics, I've come from a logistics background. So if today a logistics planner is actually preparing, let's say, tomorrow's dispatch. So to take one decision, okay, whether to send the material through road or rail, they probably need information from, let's say, a production planning that they're doing, commercial department, railway operations, transport, what's the inventory that's available in the yards, maintenance as well. Now, often these teams work in silos. The planner spends more time collecting data than actually making decisions. And that's exactly where AI helps in changing that, right? So if the planner shouldn't be asking where is the data. In fact, there should be an intelligence, or as we call it, the other variant at Linkhall for AI is actionable intelligence. The data, the model should be such that it actually gives you actionable intelligence to make better decision making there.
Right. So you mean to say, and that's what we have also seen in a few railway workshops as well. Many a times we are collecting data, but then data are also into silos. So if there are 7 different departments are collecting the data every day, but still they have a 15-minute meeting in the morning because all the heads of all these 7 departments must meet and then decide, rather than having another layer on top of it which is actually talking amongst themselves. So yes, that is probably what you are trying to say. Now the same question I would like to ask Dr. Neha, that is, on the same lines.
Yes, ma'am. As you have asked the question earlier also, and we are also discussing at tea, most models are working on synthetic data. First, we train our data on synthetic, on synthetic data. But these synthetic data, will this model work on real environment factors? That's the major question. And as you have said this thing, we are integrating data from different departments. To integrate this data in one platform is a challenge itself. So we should focus on cleaning and integrating the data, then our model will perform very well on this.
Right. Dr. Kalsi?
I'll share my personal experience that AI is, when it comes to you, whatever software you're using, is actually like a newborn child. It doesn't know anything. So what you actually have to do, depending on what is your own requirement, you have to teach the AI that this is what I actually need. At this point of time, there are now a lot of AI softwares available in the market. So you have to see that which is the AI model which is the closest to your requirement. The biggest challenge of AI is the biggest problem that you do not know that from which source the data is being picked up by AI. So there are certain softwares in which limits that you are picking up a data from certain reliable sources. So I think after understanding the problem of railways, NCRTC and the academia, in the AI, when you are training it and feeding it the data, you have to lay down the parameter that what will be the source from which it will pick up the data. Is it doing it from the openware, the entire world, or is it picking up from those sources which you define that while giving you a decision, which is like she said that which is the department, the model from which you have to pick up and give it a sort of rating that in case a decision has to be given, which particular department will have higher ruling and which department will have a lower ruling which takes place in a different position of railways. Thereafter, whatever document I get back, I do not pass it on just like that. I read through it, correct it through our own systems, our own SOPs and our own experience. And only then I find that it is safe enough to be, shared or given as a decision to the department.
Right. So while we are concluding this with this kind of take, when we are now, the floor is open to the audience, and while many of you might come up with questions, I would like to ask audience one question. Like, if each one of you have to, come up with one policy change that you are looking forward to for, on the same topic for Viksit Rail 2047. What is that one policy that you would recommend the government to look into? Because usually what happens is audience asks a question pertaining to that. Yes, we are having our speakers who are, always ready to answer your queries. But here, as a moderator, I would like you to, come up with, and I'm asking you the suggestion because everybody, given a chance, they will always have something to add on. So, if I may ask each one of you, what is that one policy change that you are looking forward to be taken as an initiative from the government side? Yes.
Ma'am, one suggestion is passenger access system, like Mr. Navneet sir mentioned about that they need to improvise on the passenger amenities or access system. My suggestion would be, I have been traveling to China, I see the single ID access system to any transport system. They have a single ID, they can enter the railways, they can enter anywhere. So we have a different platforms, like Metro has a different card, we need to purchase the ticket for the railways, for airport we do show our cards. Single access, single ID, you can track anybody who is traveling by what mode, and they can get access to through
You
that
mean to
system.
say develop something like DG Yatra has done for the airports?
But
or something like that?
DG Yatra is only limited to the airports.
Airport.
It can be extended to the railways.
Right. Anybody else?
I would agree with Mr. Jitendra ji, innovation first. So from a policy, rather than requirements coming from the, government, etc., there should be like the private sector should put in innovations first, and there should be a policy which encourages innovations to be put forward to the government for consideration.
Right. For this, I would like to state that when it comes to railways, yes, they are very open. They have made certain, provisions for, those who are developing new technologies to come forward to, and now where do we get it? Of course, now we have the rail chamber also in place. So you can come to rail chamber and then put forward your queries and whatever, your expectations are. And suppose you have developed, you were talking about having a test bed kind of a thing. That's the most, problematic area when it comes to railways, because we can still buy a car and try out and experiment with things, but we cannot buy a rail coach and experiment with things. So, but then it is more complex to do, rather than saying so. But yes, railways are open. That's something that I know from the railway side also. Yes, if you are there ready with a new technology, you are always welcome to come and try it out. So anything else anybody would like to suggest? Yes.
I am just not suggesting anything, just I am there with Mr. Dr. Jitendra Singh. He raised the question for entire ecosystem for the government. So I am 100% there with him, because not only for RailTel or government one vertical, I am talking about the entire ministries. All the ministries they should support to all the OEMs, because we are working for the Made in India and Make in India products. So see, there is lot of challenges are coming. We are taking the example for China and US as well. But we have to support on the end level to all the OEMs. This is my point only. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. This is Ashok Bunda from Larsen and Tubro. So I have basically 3 to 4 questions, but I will keep it limited. So my first question is, what's the solution for the last mile connectivity? Though we are expanding in the metros, if I talk about the Delhi NCR, we are building metros. There are almost 8 to 9 lines, 8 lines now, 8th is about to come. But still the last mile connectivity, we are lacking in that area. Like if I take an example of towards from Dwarka to Najafgarh, there is still many areas where a last mile connectivity is not there. So that's the first question, how it will be addressed. And if the answer comes, then I will go to the next. My second question is towards for the rail safety. We generally do, we have a RAMS kind of a system in a metros. That is also there in the semi-high-speed trains. That's there in the high-speed rails also. But the RAMS is not being implemented in the Indian Railways. So in Indian Railways, we now looking for to implement TCAS as a protection system. But how about to make it more robust, so the procedures are there in place to analyze all these things through the RAMs, whether we are looking forward to implement RAMs in the Indian Railways? So that's the second question.
Right.
And yeah.
Yes, one more.
Yeah, one more question is that there is a new technologies coming. We talk about the latest technology. AI being there, AI will I believe that we will get used to it, and that's not a challenge. It's not looking so much challenging for AI implementing it. By the time we'll get used to it. But like we have that ultra PRT kind of a thing is coming. The government, there is something coming on a Mumbai side, something coming on a Bihar side. That's a pod kind of a system. And a driverless train worked on a GOA4 signaling system. So are we also considering that implementing of a pod to improve the connectivity, even the last mile connectivity in across Delhi NCR, to improve the passenger these amenities? So these are 3 questions.
Right. Anybody
Thank
else?
you.
You had one more. And this is the last question that we can take up in this.
Yeah. So my question is regarding, like, I am from OEM side. So what we face challenge is that there are different PSUs in railways, like RailTel and Ircon, and there are a number of others are there. So for as an OEM, what we face challenge that all the different PSUs of railway for a same system, like if I talk about fire alarm or PA system, their standards are different. So it is very difficult for OEM to follow. Like for an example, in railways RDSOs are follows, but in RailTel or if I talk about metro, they usually look into the European standard, not RDSO. So that is a very challenge for a manufacturer to follow different standards for a same application, railways itself. So why we are not looking to standardize the documents for the security system that will be followed in each of your PSUs? It is not like that all the PSUs for the same system, they are following different standards. Thank you.
Here I would like to just answer one thing. When you're talking about various systems, you're talking about RDSO, you're talking about European standards, and you're talking about American standards. One thing remains same across all standards. That is, what is correct will remain correct. Add on to that, there are variations. I agree to what you are saying, it is confusing. But if you look deeper into RDSO, every standard is having a cross-reference and based on something which is internationally valid. Now, when we are looking at that, and problem with us is we just look at the standards very, in a go. As you rightly said, we are all in hurry. So we are not dwelling deeper into it. Now, if you are talking about having different standards, it's the requirement. Whatever comes best, it is being inducted. As an industry person, because I also come from the other side of the table, wherein we understand, okay, when we are looking at all these standards, it seems, okay, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, so many things are there. Kare kya? If we are, yahan gaye to RDSO mila, yahan gaye to EN mila. But then, if you, take a step back, understand from the railway perspective or from your own perspective, when we are looking into our standards, we are looking into BIS standards also these days. So somewhere they are all same. They're all talking about quality. That's the baseline. Now, uske upar jo bhi cheezein hain, some papers, some requirement, that's a variation. Everybody will remain unique. And considering that railway is so mammoth and there are so many PSUs in the, when you are dealing with it. So that clarity, it has to be there when we are approaching the railways for something and we are manufacturer. As a manufacturer, that clarity, we have to build that. So it's not that we don't agree to this, but then yes, from an outside perspective, this seems to be a complex thing.
No, but I entirely agree with him, because we do not really have a standard. I mean, we don't follow that approach that the same standard is followed by every organization. Some effort is being made by like Indian Railways or Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs for metros, but then that combined effort is missing, and I completely agree with you that that is lacking and effort should be made on that side.
So that's another takeaway from this for the for the ministry. So that brings close to our panel discussion. I hope you have all enjoyed. There have been varied, discussion, heavyweight.
Sujata, I just
yes,
want to
yes.
give one requirement of government officers. that like when you are using AI, it saves a lot of time. Because basically we take it as our PA, अब तो मतलब किसी को PA मिलता है कि नहीं मिलता, but वो it's more like a PA. But when you are putting certain questions, like people in the private sector, they customize their AI and the AI model actually becomes an extended personality of that person. But being a government officer, you have to be very careful because you don't understand what data you are giving, where it is going, who is reading it, who is exploiting it. So as a government officer, we want government to identify one AI software which the government officer can use and be as fast as the private sector who does not have this limitation.
Yeah, India's own AI model that should
AI
be their
model.
first thing. It should come to the
which we
government.
can use without any anxiety or fear or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I would like to intervene here. We need to wrap up with this
Yes,
session, please.
so we have actually wrapped up, and thank you so much everybody for making this so active, and we look forward to any other discussion offline. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
AI model actually becomes an extended personality of that person. But being a government officer, you have to be very careful because you don't understand what data you are giving, where it is going, who is reading it, who is exploiting it. So as a government officer, we want government to identify one AI software which the government officer can use and be as fast as the private sector who does not have this limitation.
Yeah, India's own AI model that should
AI
be their
model.
first thing. It should come to the
which we
government.
can use without any anxiety or fear or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I would like to intervene here. We need to wrap up with this
Yes,
session, please.
so we
With
have
your
actually
permission.
wrapped up, and thank you so much everybody for making this so active, and we look forward to any other discussion offline. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. We would like to felicitate with you. Ma'am, we would kindly invite you, Dr. Shah, once again on the stage, please. Mr. Vinod Shah would like to present mementos to our speakers and the panel, all the panelists available here, starting with Mr. Navneet Kaushik. And audience, may I request everyone to please give them a big round of applause to all the panelists available here, Mr. Navneet Kaushik. Then we have Dr. Namrita Kalsi. Mr. Manoj Tandon. Mr. Manoj Tandon. And now we have Professor Dr. Neha Yadav. Dr. Jitendra Singh. Mr. Mansoor Faruqi. After that. Audience, please give them a big round of applause. And lastly, with our moderator, Ms. Sujata Sahai. All right, so with that, thank you so much all the panelists available, all the speakers. Thank you so much, Mr. Shah. Yes, of course. Can we have a group photograph, please?